Today I'm diving into my most anticipated releases for August 2025. So grab a cup of something and let's dive in. Hey there, friends. If you're new here, my name is Melissa. I'm the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company, and I'm an avid reader. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you about 7 books that I have on my anticipated reads list for August. The first one is Hemlock and Silver by Kingfisher. Now, this is a story that is going to reimagine the story of Snow White. So we're dealing with a healer named Anja, and Anja is trying to track down the source of the poison that killed or that is killing Princess Snow. And she finds this alternate world through a magic mirror. So Kingfisher tends to be a little hit or miss for me, but I do lean towards really enjoying fairy tales that are reimagined. So this one with Snow White, I'm here for it. The second book that I am anticipating, and it has a lot of buzz around it because it is by author RF Kuang. And RF Kuang wrote Babel, Yellowface, which I really enjoyed. This one is called Katabasis. I believe that's how you say it. I think there's some back and forth about how do you appropriately say this. And in this story, we're dealing with a Cambridge professor, a magician. His name is Jacob Grimes, and he dies in an accident and goes to hell. And so a couple of his grad students, Alice and Peter, are going to descend into hell after him. And so this is supposed to be dark academia, fantasy. Again, this is an author that's a bit hit or miss for me. I did not read Babel, but it was a topic that didn't necessarily intrigue me, particularly after I saw the mixed reviews that came back with it. I felt like it was probably a topic because it dealt with language. It probably was not going to be my cup of tea, that I was going to get bogged down in the minutia of it. The next book on my list is a sequel. It is from Ellie Carter, and it is part of the Blonde Identity series. So this one is called The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. It is book number 2. Now, book number 1, I absolutely adored. It is fast-paced. It's a romantic comedy where in the first one, The Blonde Identity, we were following this undercover agent who had like a head injury. She didn't remember who she was, but then, the Russian mafia is coming after her. It turns out she's a CIA agent. It was hysterical. I listened to it in audio format. I probably would have raced through that as a physical book if I had it, but The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold is the second book in the series, and we're following the 2 rival CIA agents that we followed in the first book as they're falling in love and they're sharing missions. And we're looking at it from a kind of a 10-year time frame, where we're looking at all the chemistry that they have during that first go round, then the second time they try dating, the third, so on and so forth. There's a lot of encounters, arguments, romance. I have actually gotten an advanced audio copy of this one, and I'm about halfway through it right now, and I will tell you that I'm loving it just as much as I liked the first one. We are dealing with a dual perspective between the 2 agents, and we also have some sort of dueling timelines where we're going 10 years back, we're coming back to present day. So far, it's been a great time. So the next book on my list has a gorgeous cover for one, but it is called The Sea Witch by Eva Leigh. And it looks like this is going to be the first book in a series. So we've got a romantasy. I think there's a little bit of, I think some might classify it as paranormal and a little bit of historical fiction as well. But it sounds like it's going to be a really good time because we are following Elise, and Elise has been condemned as a witch and sentenced to die. And so we're dealing with England back during that purity region, during that purity time frame in history. And in this book, women aren't allowed to use magic, that sort of thing. So she ends up getting away. She uses her magical powers to flee New England, and she steals a ship, and she becomes the captain of a ship that she calls the Sea Witch. And the Navy is right on her heels out in the Caribbean waters. And then we get this naval navigator who ends up being captured by these lady pirates. And there are some dangerous truths that end up getting revealed. So it's my understanding this is obviously enemies to lovers if she's the fleeing witch and he's in the Navy. Because he gets captured, there we've got forced proximity on the ship. Obviously a pirate witch captain. I'm hearing that there's going to be like magical sea monsters, uncontrolled magic. I'm here for a good time, so I'm really hoping this one is just as exciting as it sounds. This next book, I do have an advanced copy of it. I have not read it. I was hoping to get it finished before Tuesday when I go see this author at a speaking engagement she's doing at an independent bookstore. It's The Locked Ward by Sarah Pekkanen. Sarah Pekkanen is relatively local. She lives in the DMV. And so her latest book is a psychological thriller, which if you're new here, that's kind of like my bread and butter. I love a good like women's fiction romance, but psychological thrillers I love. I don't necessarily lean towards thrillers that are have mysteries involved per se, but the domestic and psychological thrillers are really where it's at for me. So I'm really excited about this one. This one, The Locked Ward, we're following Georgia. And Georgia was adopted as a newborn to this wealthy Southern family. But then as she's gotten older, she's accused of killing the biological daughter of this family. So she gets locked up in this psychiatric institution where the most violent criminals are held. And this is where she's being kept, where she awaits her trial. And the only words she ever really can get out when her twin sister Amanda visits is, "I didn't do it. You've got to get me out of here." So I suspect we're going to be dealing with some different points of view because we've got Amanda who doesn't trust her twin sister. They're estranged, obviously. It sounds like maybe they were adopted by different families. But she doesn't trust her sister, but at the same time, she doesn't necessarily want to abandon her in this place that seems so menacing. So I'm here for it. I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm going to be interested to hear the author's thoughts on her latest novel. So the next one that I am anticipating, I am pretty certain that I have an advanced copy of this one too that I just haven't gotten around to. I have quite a long list of advanced copies that I need to get through. This one is called Anywhere With You by Ellie Palmer. So this is a romance, and we are following Charlie. And she's thriving. If you can overlook the idea that She is kind of financially strapped. She's stuck in not a dead-end job, but it's a pretty dull legal career. And she's the youngest divorcee at her local Ruth Chris steakhouse. So after she was left by her husband that she thought was way too boring to ever leave, she's figured out that or what she thinks is the idea to true happiness is to protect yourself from surprises. So then when her sister announces that she's going to elope with her on again, off again childhood sweetheart, Charlie is convinced that she has to stop this wedding. And Charlie's best friend, Ethan, who happens to also, of course, be gorgeous, is chronically unreliable, but he has an extra seat in his camper van. So we're going to follow the story or the journey of Charlie and Ethan as they embark on this wild road trip. It's my understanding that it takes place in like northern Minnesota. And so I'm looking forward to this. A little road trip romance. Sounds like a good read to me. The last novel I have for you is If All Else Fails by Emma St. Clair. So this is going to be like enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine. It's my understanding that it's a closed door romance, but we've got some really sizzling chemistry. Closed door just means that we don't read what happens behind those closed doors. So if you're looking for not so spicy of a read, this might be one for you. But we are following Josie. She's a school nurse, and we're also following Wyatt, who happens to be a hockey player, and he is the best friend of Josie's brother. And they end up getting tricked into spending a summer together. And of course, it's probably not going to be anything but smooth sailing. So apparently Josie and her brother go on this annual like super summer sibling extravaganza, and it's her brother's turn to pick the location. So he sends her the address, but she shows up and there's no siblings, nor is there any kind of extravaganza going on. It ends up being like this really rundown cottage. It's in like the northern neck of Virginia, and Wyatt, the hockey player that is her brother's best friend that she can't stand, is there. So I think this is going to be a fun one, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you've made it through all 7 books for me, tell me in the comments below. Are you adding any of these to your to be read pile? I'd love to know. Is there something that I missed that you're highly anticipating and you think I might like as well? I'd love for you to share. I try to do enough research and figure out what is my cup of tea versus what isn't out there. So until next time, friends, happy reading.